Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Jersey, and today we are gonna go over the waterfall that I built during Rip's gaming stream. It was such an amazing experience, having fun, just hanging out with everyone in chat, talking everything Dinkum. The developer of the game appeared during the stream, and just amazing time. One of the things that was very challenging about making this waterfall is that I was in a way restrained in this specific area. So normally when I work in my builds, I have whatever amount of room that I have, right? But the good thing about this challenge is that I have only this much room, and we already had specific viewpoints that we needed to show off the waterfall, meaning that I needed to create 4 different waterfall views in this particular section. So that was the challenge, and in a way it was a very good challenge. It made me have to think outside the box, how to create 4 waterfall, but in a way that the flow of the waterfall will look good, and at the same time creating a rock formation in the bottom, having enough water in the floor to have a pool of water, so everything could work very well together. So the first way for me to approach this build was to get the right height. So I needed to know how high I wanted to go. And I also wanted to make something really good that Rips will love and that will be very well suited for his town. So you're gonna see back and forth. I'm gonna go towards the bandstand, then I'm gonna go towards the dining patio that he's building, and then sometimes we're gonna go to the marble area that he's building on the other side, so we can see what type of water we can do from that side. Because one thing that was important is we don't want this just brown wall looking from the marble area towards the waterfall build, unless you put some greenery, right? You can put trees, you can make a tree line. But the idea was to have a big old waterfall display in this section of the town. So the first one that I'm trying to do is the one that's gonna be in front of the bandstand, and that was the original idea when me and Rips were talking about the idea of the waterfall. Is the main part was for the bandstand, and then the other one was gonna be the side one for the places where he's gonna do the outdoor dining tables in the area, and then after that everything involved to have one from the other side and the back side. But so my initial thought was, so let's make the one that's coming from the bandstand, because that one's gonna be a little bit more closer. I need to figure out how this waterfall was gonna work, especially the height, and then are we gonna have like a tiered waterfall system, or we're gonna have one that's just gonna drop down from high up and drop down. So if you guys were able to watch the stream, you're gonna hear me and Rips go back and forth. It was a great time getting his opinion, because for me it was very important. This is something that was gonna be on his island, and I want him to be very happy with what this build was gonna look like. So the first initial back and forth that we had is we're gonna make this one a tier type waterfall. It's just gonna go down one step, gonna go down, and it's gonna go again, and we're gonna create a flow of water. And that was the first approach. So at first we got the height that I wanted, and I always, when I work on the height of the waterfall, I always go find the highest point. If you're gonna go the highest in the limit of Dinkum, but then go down 1. That way you can put dirt around the very first top. That way you can hide the waterbed. It's just, to me, it's very important. It's a good tip to remember. That way you don't go through all that work and then you're like, oh no, I can't hide the waterbed. Because if you put it on the very top, you can't add no more dirt. So always remember, if you're trying to go to the highest level, remember to lower it once. That way you can hide the waterbed if you want to hide the waterbed. So what you're seeing right now is thinking, how do I want this? Do I want just one step going down and then have like a little pool area and have it like 2 or 3 and then again to fall down? And this is when you're working on waterbeds and making waterfalls and making a fountain or making anything related to waterbeds. Truly, this is the fun part. It's fun creating something, trying to figure out the layout, trying to figure out the design that you want to do. And all you're gonna see is a lot of trial and error, back and forth, trying to figure things out, what it's gonna be pleasing to your eyes, the way you're envisioning what you want to make. And sometimes you're not gonna have a vision. You don't know what you want to make, right? And you're gonna be like, I don't know if this is gonna look good. Then the best advice I can give you is, again, look at real life, go online, check the web, see what other people are creating, see what other type of waterfalls are out there, and then just try to kind of imitate something. And as you're imitating, you're gonna get a flow, you're gonna get a sense of what you want to make. And once that happens, I'm telling you, you're gonna start adding your own twist, you're gonna start adding your own design, you're gonna start adding your own flair, you're gonna feel something, and you're gonna be like, you know what? I really want this to curve right here. I want this to be a little bit more of a pool up here. Okay, so if you're looking at this and you're wondering why he's not putting anything down the middle, it's because I'm in a multiplayer format, and sometimes in the multiplayer, as it's being developed and it's being fixed, it won't let me. As you see right there, I'm trying to put the water bed, it just won't let me in a specific spot. It's just something that the developer is still working on in the multiplayer aspect. So at some point I'm gonna have Rips, he's gonna come and he's gonna add the water bed that I need, so I can truly see how this is gonna be looking. But that's the reason. So okay, so now I wanted to see how much water, because to me it's very important in the bottom of the waterfall to have a little bit of kind of like a pool area where the water is flowing and where all this water is coming from. So there's two ways to approach this. You don't have to have that, and you can use your imagination and think this is a man-made structure, this is a man-made fountain, and we only need a little bit of a section of water, and it's just recycling through, somehow getting to the top, and the water just keeps falling down. So that's a good way to think about it, right? Because sometimes you want to make this amazing waterfall, but you can't really make the realism of where all this water is coming from and where all the water is going. So just use your imagination, create a story, create a way of all this, how it's gonna work, and then just put it all together. So yeah, but I did want to make it feel like all this water is falling to this pool, this area that's gonna be full. Because at some point we do want to work with greenery, we want to work with rocks, we want to work with all the plants and the flowers, and just add all of it together to create something very naturally looking. On this one, my take, I wanted to create it and make it look natural. So okay, so here's Rips, he's gonna help me out, he's gonna be able to put the water bed where I need it, so I can truly see the vision. So, and as we were talking, he and I was asking him how he's liking it, the approach and the width and all that. So he wanted it to be a little more wider. So I told him, okay, not a problem, we can go a little wider, and once we go wider, we're gonna go 4 wide. But for me, once I went that wide, and it's not a bad thing going 4 wide, depending on the look and depending your approach and what is your statement with this waterfall, right? Then making it this big wide waterfall, it could work depending on what you're building. But my approach, I wanted to feel like there's this water movement throughout the rocky and the mountain, and it just coming down. So we do make it 4 wide, but then as 4 wide, it's gonna have division in between them, and it's gonna just just make it kind of like a little partition in different areas to make the water feel like it's going in different direction as it's cascading down from the top all the way to the bottom. But at first I really wanted to see how it would look like for wide, so we ended up doing that and just doing that change just to see how it would look, because that's his request, so I'm gonna try to make it happen the best way that I can. But at the same time, I had plenty permission to do my take on the vision that he's also wanting in this area. So it was such a fun way, because it does make me challenge, and part of this challenge is the spacing. If I was gonna recreate this waterfall in my island, in my town, or in somebody else's island, I know it'd be a little more different, because then I could have more space to work with, especially on the side that's facing the marble. That one, I had to really think, how can I make this feel a little real in a way when you look at it from that angle, even though I only have like 3 squares to work with, and that was a challenge. And once we get there, you will see what I did, what was my thinking behind it, and it just made it very simple, but at the end it did work and it made it look really good. So okay, so here is when I start creating divisions and cascading waterfall and making the flow. It's just like how we started in the beginning. Play with it. Just add dirt here, put this here, imagine how everything is flowing and see what you're liking, you know, how this pool of water is going on one direction and falling on the other side. And to me, that's the key, is have fun with it, imagine how the water is flowing, and if you don't like it, just go ahead and take it back, move the dirt, put everything the way you want it, and then try another approach. And that's what we're doing here. So you see the cascading, right? So you see the top now. So I just went ahead and put one block in the middle and just make it break. And then as it's breaking down, one water's gonna go one way, and slowly we're building the waterfall that's gonna be facing the dining patio area. And then the other side, we already got one facing towards the marble. And that's the thing. And then here you start creating depth. And what I mean by depth is having a little more on top, so there's a little separation from different areas. So you're gonna see at some point on the very top one, right? We got three. We got one that's too wide and one that's one. But the one that's one, we are going to make it just a little bit deeper. And it's just creating that depth effect, you know, instead of everything just being flat. And flat is okay, because if you look at a lot of natural waterfall, it is flat, right? And sometimes there's just one or two, but sometimes when you do multiple waterfall, you want to feel, and the pictures that I've been finding, they are depths in between, and this one's a little more forward, this one's a little more back, but sometimes it's all in the same level, but it's the force of the water, you know, when you look at those pictures, that this part of the water is falling so much stronger, so it just feels like it's shooting out farther, and then this side there's a little less water, so the water is not as strong, it's just falling a lot softer. So then it creates that difference, that back and forth. This one's a little more forward, this one's a little more back. So that's what I'm trying to recreate here, is that a little bit of a natural feeling. And since this is a game at the same time, so we have the liberty to try to do and recreate some feelings, some of that depth. And to me, depth is important, not just on builds, not just on planting trees, or what you're gonna put behind a building or in front of it, or anything like that, or when you're putting two fences together, but also the more I play with waterfall and the more I'm trying to build in a realistic way, you know. And once we went in our adventure video that you guys saw when we went to researching waterfall and see how nature is in real life, I noticed that depth is important and how everything just flows together. So this is what we're recreating here. So that's what you're gonna see, even the side that's facing now, that we're slowly working on the side that's facing the dining patio right here. One waterfall is gonna be more closer, the other one's gonna be a little more far back, because we're creating that feel and we wanna have that dirt in between and the spacing. And at the end, don't forget, at the end, go with your feelings, go with your flow, go to what feels right for your build, for your eye, and for your viewing pleasure, because that's so important. Because my take may not be your take, and your take may not be my take, and that's the beauty when it comes to designing. You know, these videos are always gonna be to inspire you and to motivate you and to show you that anything can be done and you can approach it in many different ways and just add your flair to it. So now here in this corner, we're working on this corner. Now I don't want this corner to be just this high. I want to see a little bit more of the back, and that's what I mean. We're creating that feel of mountain, but at the same time you're gonna be limited in some specific corners if you want to hide the boxes, right? If you want to hide that wooden frame of the waterbed. So sometimes you may want to make this corner lower, but you'll not be able to, or you're gonna have to let the water fall, and that's also gonna be a choice, you know. In some specific areas I do like water falling at a corner in all sides, but I'm not a big fan of having multiple of those right now, because sometimes, especially when I'm building a waterfall that's gonna be close to a viewing area, because I still feel like the water is kind of glitching just a little in specific corner, and that's nitpicking. Don't forget, that's very nitpicking on my part, So if you like that type of waterfall and having more abundance, just waterfalling in every direction, go ahead and do it, because they're beautiful builds. And I've been seeing pictures from people posting in the Discord, putting it on Twitter, seeing other people's video, and it's just amazing. It truly is. It's just because I don't do it as often, it's just because I'm more picky, you know, and I'll be honest with that. Just a little more picky when it comes to that stuff. Okay, so slowly, we're still working in the front, we're still working on the side, and then slowly, I need to keep thinking, okay, don't forget, I still need a little water flow that's gonna come towards this side. And since this is a build that has 4 waterfall in one specific place, I didn't want all sides looking the same. To me, that was also important. I wanted to have different views from different angles in this particular spacing that we have here. The most important, the two most important to me was, of course, the one in front of the bandstand and the one that's gonna be facing the dining patio area. Those are the two most important. The one next to the marble patio area, that one is, there's gonna be so many trees and palm trees. We didn't want to have just a brown wall. So that's why we're gonna add a little bit of water in the background just to add a little atmosphere. And then the one facing the back is just facing the river. So that one's gonna be very different. We came up with a good idea, but that one's just facing the river. So I wasn't too much worried about that one. It was just more creating something that's gonna look good and that's gonna be different from the main two one, the one that's facing the bandstand and facing the dining patio area. But yeah, but that was the fun part, right? It's just creating. And as you can see, I'm retweaking the front again. And this is something also that we need to talk about. Don't be afraid. If you already finished a waterfall, right? And you finish this build and you finish the front and you feel like you're done, and now you're working on something else, but now you get a different idea and you're like, wait a minute, maybe I can do this now as you're working another one, because now the flow of this is not working. Then go and do it and have fun with it, because when you feel like that, I do feel like you know that there's something that you want to do. There's something that needs this build, and that feeling that you're getting when you're just kind of questioning a little bit of your build, like you feel like, you know, I like it, but I feel like it needs something, and you're still not smiling, you're still not there quite yet, like you know it. And I know you know what I mean, because when you're building, you feel it, right? You feel that there's still something missing. But go with that feeling and start messing with it and start having fun with it, and then it's gonna hit, you're gonna figure out, and you're gonna be like, oh. And this is why you see me here in this corner. I was not happy. If you're watching the stream or you're just rewatching it, and I'm gonna link that stream into this video just in case you guys want to hear the fun that we had together, and it just was a great time. In that corner, I was working, and then that corner led me to this back over here, and trying to think, okay, how can I make this work? Like, I need this flow to feel as much natural as I can. I want to hide the water beds, and I want to just create something. And this is what you see, and it's just keep messing with it until I find a spot that I liked it, and I found a way to make it work. And then I know you hear me, it's like in the stream, I'm like, oh, I'm happy now. Oh, I'm smiling. Oh, this is looking good. Oh, this is working. Because then that's how I work. That's how, if you ever wonder, how do I know I got something that I like? How do I have something that is making me happy? Or how do I know that I gotta build the way that I like it? It's that feeling that when I'm looking at my build, I'm smiling and it makes me happy. And visually, you know, my eyes are seeing something that it is genuinely making me happy when I'm looking at it. And that's how I know. And that's how I know I can bring this build to you guys. So you guys can see it, you know. And then I want you guys to take this build and make it your own. Tweak it, copy it completely, and just add whatever you want. And then I want to see it, because then I want to get inspired by you and seeing things that I never thought. And I'll be like, you know what? I want to do that. And then we just do that. And just create and build amazing things. Okay, so the next thing, as you can see, I'm clearing the dirt, right? Originally, we were going to put a big fountain that you probably saw it there. I picked it up, and we were going to put a big fountain in front of this side of the waterfall in front of the dining patio. But as I was clearing this section of dirt, right, this natural flower that spawned there, I kind of left them. I just had a feeling, and I was like, you know what? These flowers are already here. They feel very natural. They feel very there, like already there, naturally spawned. So I wanted to see what it felt like if I now, instead of just bringing a water fountain, I'm gonna stretch this out. You know, let me make this pool area a lot bigger, and maybe we can do an amazing rock formation in the bottom. We can bring some plant life and just make all this water that is falling. We're gonna make this little pool area right here, and then it's gonna also lead and pour into the river. And that was my next approach. So I asked Rips, I told him the idea, he said to go for it, you know, because now I'm being led by a feeling. I'm being led by something in me that's leading me to create in a whole new way. And this is what happens when I'm creating builds. This is what happens when I'm creating the videos that are in my channel for you guys. Is sometimes I start with an idea, I start with a design in my notebook, in my mind, and I'm bringing it into the game. I'm applying that into the game. But as you're building, you're gonna get these feelings of tweaking or adding or trying new things, and that's that feeling that you guys are gonna get and gonna feel. That's what's gonna make building so much fun for you, and it's gonna create these amazing ideas and new ways to approach it and things that you never thought of on the spot. And I think that's always fun. So that was what was happening here. You know, this design that I brought in at first, it came from one idea and evolved to another idea, to the point that from what I initially came in my mind that I talked with Rips to build, the whole design at the end is totally different. The only thing that stuck the same is that we built a waterfall. But that's what makes it fun, right? Is input. And the other fun part of this one is it wasn't just for me, and it wasn't just for my area, but it was a build that it was gonna be a showcase. It was gonna be put in another person's island, you know, that people are gonna watch, people are gonna see when people come over, and having the input from another creator that wanted something in a specific way. It was amazing to work like that, because it is a challenge to work when you're building something for another person, and they have a little bit of say so, and they want something a specific way. Maybe it's the height, maybe it's the width, maybe the angle. And I took that all as a challenge, and I think that taking challenges like that sometimes makes you a better builder, because it makes you think outside the box, because you're just not doing something your way, you're trying to do it your way, plus making another person happy when it comes to that type of build. And it's a good challenge, guys. It's a very good challenge, and it's something that we always talk about. It's kind of the same way when you guys are watching my designs, are watching the videos, and then taking inspiration and then adding your own flair. It's the same thing. It's like if you guys taking the challenge, okay, I'm gonna do the Jersey's build, but then as I'm working on it, I'm gonna add my own flair, and that's what's fun, right? It's that challenging aspect and then adding your own flair to it. Okay, so now we're working on the back. I'm trying to get now the flow of this waterfall that's gonna come to the back and also facing a little bit of the marble patio. So we're gonna be working on this. So the idea of this one was also kind of the same thing as the front. And the front is cascading down. The waterfall that's facing the dining patio area is just a big waterfall, just crashing down, right? It's just a different type of waterfall. And this one over here, we do have kind of like a little cascading, but then also a waterfall tier falling down, and then having a little different like pool areas, so we can kind of break it up. So it's fun. It truly is fun, and it's just an exciting way to express yourself with waterbeds. It's truly that there's no limits on the creation when it comes to waterbed and waterfall design, because even this build that I never done one like this, having all four sides, having a type of waterfall and having a flow that everything truly feels that is flowing together, it was fun. So okay, so what I'm trying to do here, as you can see, is trying to figure out how I'm gonna look this. So the easiest way that I approach this one, because the limited space that I have, is we gotta clear the one row just to have the water, because we need the water to fall somewhere, right? That way it makes sense. Especially for me. You guys know, if you guys are new to the channel or you guys are been following me for a while, my things sometimes needs to make sense, and that's why my builds are a little more realistic. I need to make sense of what I'm building so things can fall in the right place, if I can explain myself. That way my brain can my brain and my mind can take a break, because then I'm like, okay, the water's falling here and it has a purpose, and then I can continue building. So that's just something nitpicking more in my end, because that's how my mind works. So I need that. So okay, so we clear that little row, so that way the water falls and falls into this big pool area. So the next thing is, okay, I'm not gonna do any cascading, I'm not gonna do anything, so I'm just kind of just having the waterfall just fall straight down, fall to that little pool, and it falls one. And I like that aspect, and I like that design, because it gave it just a little bit more on that back end, just a little more to view, but we kept it very simple. Alright, so now the next part. This is one of the most fun part. This part is very adding rocks, you know, and making a rock formation, making something to feel kind of natural. And the best way that I can tell you is trial and error, you know. I think when it comes to rock formation, you all are gonna have a very different perspective and view of how you want your rocks to lay out, you know. The one thing that I like is high variation. I think that's very important. Not all the rocks are the same for me, but if you want all the rocks and you want everything to be high and all that, I don't think there's anything wrong. You know, when it comes to rock formation, it's just you're just building something, and you're gonna see it here. You're gonna see how I break a rock, add the rock, put it higher, put it lower, you know, maybe make a lot of the front lower, maybe break it again, maybe try to build something. And this is all gonna be just a lot of trial and error in your part, and see what visually you are gonna enjoy, you know. And this part can take a long time, or it could take a short time, you know, just depending on what you're truly are trying to accomplish when it comes to the rocks in the bottom or in the top or on the side. It's fun to work with. It's a fun tool. Don't get frustrated. That my big advice when it's gonna come to the rocks is don't get frustrated right away. Keep playing it. If you need to take everything down, break every rock that you just put in, do it. You know, and then don't let your stone one break unless you already got multiples from the mine runs. Then repair it and then go at it again. Have fun. You know, at any moment that you're designing and building, if you're getting a little frustrated, take a break. Just go ahead, take a break, do something else in the island. You know, go do a quest. You know, work on another section that you're building, and then come back with a calm, refreshed mindset. Come back to the build and then go at it again. You know. Sometimes though, taking a break is very important when it comes to designing. You know, I have to do that many times myself. You know, sometimes my builds, when I'm working on builds, it takes me 1-2 days. I don't do it all in one day. Not like this one. This one was fun challenge. I never done one like this, spending so many hours and doing it from the very beginning all the way to the end. I'm thankful that everything worked out great, you know, because I did feel just a tiny little pressure to have this done by the end of the stream. You know, because I'm a little picky when it comes to my builds. I want things to look really good, especially if it's gonna be for you guys to view, to get inspiration from. So it's not just I'm live, I'm there. You guys are watching, listening, so, and hearing me mumble, hearing me count, and to me that's important, you know, to truly create something that it can inspire you. So I am picky when it comes to that. But as you can see, is rock formation is placing things, leaving spacing. You can make this super rocky too. So again, just like I said with waterfall, that there's not a wrong or a right way to make waterfall. I truly believe that on the rock formation, because when you go to nature, when you go to real life, rock formations, they just form. There could be a cluster of rocks in one side and then nothing on the other side. There could be so much in the front and nothing in the back. It could be completely covered in rocks. And this is when, and I'm gonna say it again, it's gonna be what is gonna make you happy when you're looking at it. When you're looking at your build and you're looking at what you're making, and when you're looking at what you're building and how you're placing the rocks, you know, it's not what that other person's gonna think, it's what you are gonna think. And please don't forget that it's your island, it's your town. That rock formation that you're making is for you, is visually pleasing to you. And once you get to that point, and once you understand that, you're gonna be so much more happy when it comes to your build, because you're not worried about other people. You're not worried about what people are gonna think, what people are gonna view this or compare it to. No, because that, if you're trying to imitate real life, real world, real places, you know, and how nature just, how beautiful it is, it's just all chaotic, it's all chaos, it's just all over the place, because rock formation they just form, you know. It could be that mountain fell and now you have now a brand new rock formation just because it fell, and now it's gonna be there for the next 100 years, you know. That's how it is. So when you're making this rock formation, this is my take, this is how I approached it, right? And then I could see this exact build, you came in, you imitated to the last detail, but you added even more rocks, and I may look at that and I may go, whoa, wow, that's amazing. I would never approach it. I could see the same build and no rocks, and maybe heavy vegetation, a lot more greenery in the bottom, in the pool area, and I may go, wow, that's amazing. And that's also the thing, you know, you have your taste, you're gonna have your preference when you're building. And this is why, to me, this type of videos are important, and to encourage you to try that, to do it, to not just to find what makes your build, your taste, your approach. To me, that's very important, and that's what I want to encourage every one of you, is to find your taste, your build, your preference. You know, some people like marble a lot, like Rips Gaming. He loves the marble. You know, some people may love the brick more than anything. Some people may like the dark wood more than anything, and their build reflects that. And I think that what makes this game so fun, because at the end, everybody has a whole different taste that's just fun and unique in their own style. But okay, let's get back to what we're doing. We're still working on rocks. I'm still tweaking some of these areas, and this is now the fun part. When it comes to final details, tweaking the areas, the best advice that I can give you, and this is what I do all the time, is start looking at it from far away. Start looking at it from a good distance and see how everything is flowing. Just go from the very top, and if you want to look at the bottom, look at it that way. Go from the front, go from the side, walk it around, and then at the end you can always do the helicopter, just depending on the viewing. If you're worried how your build looks from the air, get a helicopter. But if you're not worried about how your build looks from the air, you're only worried about how your build looks from the different point of views that you're trying to create, then look at it from that way and pretend. So that's why you see me going to the dining patio area, or you see me walking towards the gazebo, is I need to feel and see how this build is looking from those specific distances and angles, because I think that's what's important. Okay, so the next thing that I will try to do now is add a little bit of greenery, and greenery comes to choice. Again, you know, I'm more picky when it comes to greenery. I like things to make sense. I don't like to put a lot of greenery inside the water boxes itself, unless I have a corner like I did right there, like just a little bit, or this specific place, just a little bit. I don't like to do a lot of greenery inside the water beds unless I do have a lot of space. So like I said, it's a little more picky in my part. So, but where there's dirt and some of the corners, I am either planting rocks on there, or I'm gonna plant just a little bit of greenery like this. And that's what now I'm doing. And when it comes to this as well, and you're trying it out, put it in, try it out. Don't like it, then go ahead and take it all off. You know, you just completely take it off and retry it again. Sometimes you're gonna have to sleep. You're gonna have to sleep a day, 2 days, see everything grow, see what works, what doesn't work, come back to it, take it down, do something else. Maybe you need, instead of a bush, you need a flower. Instead of a flower, you want a rock. You know, just find what it needs as you're looking at it. And that's the best the best advice I can give you again. And again, all this is subjective. All this is about taste, you know. What I can do for you is try to explain the process that I go through so you guys can try to do the same in your own unique style and way. Because everybody's different. We are all different. We are all unique. And when it comes to that specific building style, you're gonna find your own style, and then it's gonna reflect all the time. So here we are. We are sleeping to the next day. We're looking how everything's growing and getting a better feel. And then the next thing that I really wanted, I wanted to see if lily pads will work here. Lily pads are such a great item, such a great tool for designing. And again, you can really cover this with lily pads if that's the feel you want to go. You want to create a very green, very maybe very pond-like in a way. And the good thing is you can also add like the grass right here on the bottom to make it even greener if that's the look that you want to. You can put a lot of mud. It will take a lot of work, but you can add mud to all the floor to create a very muddy and dark. But then once you do that, you gotta keep coming back and cutting the mango trees to, if you want just that grass, or if you want the mud texture to show through the water. So it's a little more dedication in your part, because you're gonna have to come back to the build a lot of times. But that's the fun. It's just depending truly what you're trying to do. So lily pads. So my approach to lily pads, and after studying them, looking at pictures, seeing how it works, the way that I'm approaching my technique to lily pads right now is doing small clusters and then having a lot of water space around it. And again, if you look online, a lot of lily pads, they're not just, it could be completely covered, or it could be two in one pond. You know, it's truly gonna be what's gonna, again, like I keep saying, visually pleasing to your eye. This I place them the way that I want, and I try them out, don't like them, take them off. In this side over here in the front, I was trying to put the big ones. For me, they felt too big for the amount of space of water that I had, so I went ahead and just added just the little ones, and adding not too many, maybe 2, maybe 3, and I can go in that way. I thought about maybe putting some in the top of the waterfall, but that truly did not make any sense. So I was like, you know what? I haven't seen that in real life, lily pads on top of a waterfall or anything like that. So I discarded that idea. I took it off. I didn't want to do that. So I came back over here. Let's add a little bit of more rocks in different places just to get a feel. But slowly, as you can see now, the build is coming to life. When you get to this point of building, and now you're working on details, you're working on that final stretch, you know, like you could spend 10 minutes walking around looking at the different type of builds and what you're doing and trying to figure out what's missing, because you know there's still something, but you don't know what it is. So sometimes you gotta keep trying, like I did right there. I added that hibiscus and I was like, I put it down. No, I don't like it. It's not what I'm looking for. And you're gonna see my character now going back and forth, different areas, trying things out. Maybe add another bush here, take it down. Maybe I don't need this dirt patch over here. What do I need? What is it missing? There's still something, and this is why you see me jumping around, because I'm still looking what's gonna make this build feel finished. And it's just small details. I think at some point we're gonna stretch more of the water. We're gonna make the pond in front of the dining side area, we're gonna make it a little bit more bigger. We're gonna make it a little more round, and that helped me a lot to feel like the area felt more water-like in this section. We're also gonna open up the section to the river and add some rocks there, and that slowly, once I got to those points right there, everything started feeling just right. Then we also ended up adding a fence in front of it, and that fence really also helped a lot too. It really helped to give it that texture, that feel that is enclosed, like it's part of this gated area. And that also helped me a lot to just separate the build from all the other area, because all the other area had like around it, like we got fence over here, we got a fence on the other one, but then we had this little stretch open. And that's also, again, adding a fence, not adding a fence is also gonna be you know. You may look at this right now and you may truly love the open feel, the way it feels open with no fence. you may like it. Once we add this fence, you may be like, oh, I like it with the fence. I like the feel with how everything feels with the fence. And that was the route that we went with. We went with the fence just to make it match all these other areas that had fencing around it. And for me, that really did the trick. It started making it feel a little more like this is a build, but it's not for everybody to be able just to climb on it, just reach it. It's just, and that's part of the story. I think part of building and part of decorating and all that, you gotta create your own story, your own approach. Why this is here, why this is the way, working the way it is, because I think that's important. I think all of that is gonna make your story in your mind, the way you're building, connecting the tissue. So if you ever invite people on your island, you do multiplayer, maybe you decide to take screenshots and put them in Discord and you want to show off your creation, I think all of that is gonna help you to tell the story on why you did the build and why you approached it in this particular manner. And I think all that is important. It helps me to create not just a build, but as I'm creating the world, you're creating a story. And for me, that's part of the fun, you know. So when I tell people, or when I'm doing this for you guys, we're telling a story. We're telling why all of this is working the way it's working and why we approached it in this particular way. And I think that's part of the fun. Part of the world of Dinkum is creating a story in your mind, why your world looks the way it looks, why your community is your community, why you got building in specific places, and yeah, and that's part of the fun. So okay, so here Rips wanted me to add the new trees, you know, from the spring blooming update. So we added one in one corner over here that I think is gonna look great once it grows, and then one in the back, just to have a little bit of shade, just to have a little bit of more something, a little more height in this area that are gonna be a little more flat. And I think once they grow, they're gonna look really good. So Rips added also, this is his own take. He wanted to add a little the new water fountain small, but he wanted to vary. He just wanted to have that little squirt that's coming on the top, just sprinkling through. And I liked it. I actually did like how it looked. So, but I was like, it's missing something, and I think we need another one. If we put two, then it's gonna look kind of nice, like we have a design going on. So he's gonna create another one, come back, we're gonna add it, and that added another flare. So there they are. So now we're working at night. You know, we waited to get dark. He got the watch, he speed up time, and now we're making it. We want to create a mood here, and we're gonna use one of the new flowers that you find in the deep mines, and to give it that glow. So my approach when it comes to the glowing is not to overdo it. I don't want just overtake this area with all these plants, you know. Then if I need more light, then I truly want them to maybe put a garden lamp, or maybe put lamps in specific places just for lighting. But we wanted to create a mood, or at least that's the approach that we want to do. Just create a mood, something that looks good at night, looks pretty, but I didn't want just to light it up right now, just be super bright. I just want to create a mood. And these lights, these plants that give you this light source, is very pretty. So I started working from my way, the farthest place out at the edge of the water, and work my way towards the waterfall, and then we're gonna just add a little bit glow on the top. And once we did that, we got that feel. I finally getting that glow at night that I want. And again, when you're looking at this, if this is too dark for you, add more light. Maybe you can add the garden lamps. Maybe you want to add a big lamp in the inside, in the very corner, just to have a little more light bouncing inside. So when it comes to light source, again, it's just like anything that we build in Dinkum. It truly is gonna be what you truly want for you in this build and how you want to approach it. So here I'm just adding a little bit of light. I didn't want the light to be able to see at the edge of the waterfall. So what you're seeing is I either add it right in the middle, or I'm adding them in a place that I know that you cannot see it. So in between the dirt and the bush, that way when you're looking at it from the ground up, from right here up, you may only see a little bit on the top, but it's not like you see the plant full center. I just kind of want to hide them a little bit, so it's not just so obvious, like as soon as you look, bam, there's the flower with the light. I just want it a little bit, so you can see him a little bit on the top, but that's it. Now, if I had the opportunity to make this build again, the very top, I kind of will make this waterfall a little more wider on the top, so then I can truly hide that, and that way I don't see it, because I'm more nitpicky when it comes to that. But this is the space, and that was part of the challenge, is having this space to work with to create a build. And that's fun, because sometimes you are gonna face those challenges in your own island. You got this space, that's only this space, it's only this big, and you got next to them amazing builds that you're not gonna tear down. So you gotta build something, you know, and this is part of the motivation, this is part of the tool, this is part of the challenge, is you have a spacing that you need to work with so you can make something happen. And we can make something happen. It may take time, you may spend 4 hours, 5, 6, 7 hours to create something, but at the end result, it's always gonna be worth it. And again, don't forget, use your feelings, use the way you're looking at the build. Remember, if it's making you smile, if it's making you happy, then you got something, you know. At least that's the way, that's my approach, that's the way I approach my builds. You know, I need to feel happy, a smile, that the end result is looking really good. And once you get to those points, you know you're there, you're getting very close. Minor details, sometimes you gotta come back, take a break, come back again, look at it again, and then there you are, you're doing it. It's just amazing. Working on fine details it may take time. You may spend an hour and you only did 2 changes, but it's worth it at the end. And then come back the next day after you take a day of break, 2 days break, come back to the build, look at it with a fresh set of eyes, see and look what is missing, and if everything looks great, you're done. And if you want to add something else, then add it, you know. And that's the fun part, you know. Finer details can make and break a build. I think that's very important. I think that's why you need that break. Come back the next day, 2 days later, maybe you come back a week later, look at it, see how it really flows with what you have built next to it, and then you leave it alone, then you're good. Then here we are, we made this build. It was such a great stream, such a great time. I had fun with everybody that came through, participating, people that could only stay there for just 5 minutes because time zones, the difference in timing, but having people just showing up, saying hi, talking. We got rated by amazing creators as well. It was just such a fun time that I had. It was a pleasure to be here, working, just creating something from the very beginning all the way to the end, so you guys can see what can be possible in Dinkum and how much fun we all can have when we play this game. This game is amazing, the update is amazing, all the new creations that we can start building, that we can start doing, is just unbelievable. You know, it's crazy to think that just a month ago we could not do something like this, and now we can build something like this. It's like I said, it's like having a new game. Dinkum has changed forever. The landscape, what we can do in the game with decoration, with the marble, with everything is just a brand new game, a brand new season. And what everybody's creating is just an amazing time to discover the game, to bring people here, to recommend people this game, because it's just unbelievable what we can create. Look at this is amazing. So happy that we are able to create things like this in this game, in this world. And I'm so happy that you guys are here, joining the journey, joining the adventure, because more builds, more videos, more design are coming, and this journey is just gonna be amazing. So I'm so grateful for everyone that's here, and let's just have fun building together, inspiring each other, because that's why we're here. The most important part is inspiring each other so we can create build like this in the world of Dinkum. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and we'll see you next time. Alright guys, see you later. Bye.